Deion Sanders made his first public appearance since last May at Big 12 Media Days. And as you might expect, it was appointment viewing. Let's talk about what he had to say, from his health to the salary cap to what he feels is going on with his Colorado Buffaloes. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If that is something you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you want to see Deion Sanders in Colorado win the Big 12 championship? Because that is what they are chasing in 2025. Make no mistake about it. Also talked a little bit about himself, talked a little bit about what he wants from college football, and talks a lot about what his expectations are for his team. Also going to remind you that we got an audio podcast on Apple and Spotify. Please feel free to go to those places, download the podcast, listen to the podcast. Team previews are a little bit shorter, but most of the episodes are between 30, 40 minutes. If you like it, go ahead and leave a 5-star review. If you leave a 5-star review at Apple and Spotify, I'm prepared to send you one of these stickers as a way of thanks and a thank you note from me. Just give me the 5 stars on Apple and Spotify, and then go to the link in the description below and tell me where I can send your sticker. So Prime shows up and understandably gets a good journalistic question about, hey, how's your health? And he said, I'm not here to talk about my health. I'm good. I'm living well. I'm fine. I'm here to talk about my team. And he talked about his team. He brought both quarterbacks. It is wild in this day and age to bring not one but 2 quarterbacks to Big 12 Media Days. Usually, when you don't know who the starter is going to be, you don't bring quarterback at all. You let everybody just say, oh, well, I guess we're going to have a competition. That's what Scott Frost did, Central Florida. He didn't bring no quarterback. I don't know which one of his guys is going to start. Got 68 new faces. We'll see what it is in preseason camp. But Prime knew that one of these 2 guys, JuJu Lewis or Kaidon Salter, is going to start at quarterback for them at Georgia Tech, which leads me to believe we might actually see both of them. And he just doesn't know which, but he says, look, I don't care which one it is. They'll figure that out in preseason camp. I know that whoever wins it, we're going to be fine. We're in good shape. And he is. He's got a guy who has rushed for almost 2,100 yards over the past 3 years at Liberty, and passed for almost 6,000 yards the last 3 years at Liberty, and a veteran in Kaidon Salter. And he's got a 5-star talent in JuJu Lewis, who's a point guard on the field. And they're going to need one going into this 2025 schedule, which is really up, down, just like the rest of the Big 12, difficult. Prime said it. He believes the team that wins the Big 12 conference is going to be 10-2 at the end of the year. That is how deep this league is. And he's got a point. Everybody last year in the Big 12 caught at least 2 losses. Every single team. The problem with that is you don't get the national respect for having a 2-loss champion that you would otherwise for an undefeated or 1-loss champion. And that shows up in the college football playoff selection committee rankings, right? Because they dock you for beating up on your conference foes. Whereas if you got a top-heavy conference like the Big Ten or the SEC, you'll have a couple teams that are 1-loss or even undefeated at the end of the season that are just going to be ranked higher than you because they've got more wins than losses. Never mind that the league is not as deep. And I don't think it's untrue to say Big 12's deepest Power 4 league that we got. But we just don't treat it that way. We treat it as a team that just can't produce a national championship. And producing a national champion is what the sport is about, right? But you got to have more bites at the apple if you want to do that. Last year, the Big 12 got just 1 team in to the college football playoff of the 12, right? You look at Big 10, you get Ohio State, you get Indiana, you get Penn State, Oregon, all in there, right? Like, think about that. Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, Indiana. That's just the Big 10. That's a third of the field. Big 12 is never going to get a third of the field, which is one of the reasons why they want the 5+1 model. And the way that they would perhaps get this national recognition, at least at the front end, is by going to play their non-conference games and winning them. So when Baylor plays SMU, when Baylor plays, they got another, Auburn, when Colorado plays Georgia Tech, you got to win those games. You got to win those games. When Iowa State plays Iowa, you got to win those games to earn your national respect and get to say, at least going into regular conference play, that we beat up on these teams. Remember that. And we're making all sorts of excuses, right, as to who did what and how. But I also think that it's important to point out that Prime is, I think, going into this with the gloves off. Daddy Prime is in the house. He bringing out Switch. Yeah, I don't know about some of y'all ain't from the South. Some of y'all wasn't raised, say how I was raised. I'll tell you how I was raised. Both my parents ex-military, okay? So making the bed every morning, part of it. Push-ups is punishment, thank you. Because punishment could be something else. See, some of y'all don't know about the Switch. You think you know about the Switch. Think you know about the belt, but you don't know about the Switch, okay? The belt is, go get the belt, right? Go get the belt is diabolical because you got to go get the device that's going to be used to whoop your ass. And I got to tell you, when you 7, 8 years old, that's playing on your mind. That's the longest walk. That's the closest that a child gets to walking death row right there. I got to go get the thing you going to beat me with? That's diabolical. But you know what else was more diabolical? My grandmommy, Hattiesburg, Mississippi. She had a peach tree out front. Grandma had a green thumb. She can't get anything to grow like that peach tree. And if you ever seen a peach tree, it's got some real strong, sturdy limbs. Reminds you a lot of bamboo. Because that mug, it'll swing and it'll flex on you and it'll hit you, but it don't break. You keep thinking it's going to break, but it's not going to break. You try to break it with your hands. It's going to take a little bit of effort on this, okay? I bring that up to say, when grandmommy said, go get the Switch, she not talking about no broom handle. That's too hard. You know, don't come on now. She not talking about a foam pad. I seen something about a child getting beat with a foam pad. I'm like, what is that? Who went in that one? I don't know. Because the child ain't feel nothing. But you feel better, I guess. You getting it out? I don't know. Grandma said, go get the Switch. You walk out that, man, she probably said it to me in the kitchen. So I got to go out the kitchen. I got to go through the living room. I got to catch everybody's eyes looking away from me because they know I'm a dead man walking. I got to go through the screen door. I got to go out the front porch. I got to take them steps down. And then I got to look at this this big old peach tree. And I got to decide which one of these branches I'm going to break off. Because I know I can't just break off any branch. The big one, that's the big one. I don't want to get beat down with the big one. Don't nobody want to get beat down with the big one. The small one mean she going to tell you go back out there if you lucky. But if her patience is gone, she'll go out there herself and she going to bust off something that you wasn't even thinking about. Something that you was like, surely that would not be the one. That's the one she would go get. I know this because it went that way for your mans a couple times. Only 2 times. Only took 2 times. But I'm about to turn 38 at the end of this month, and they are seared into my brain. These are core memories for your mans. That is who Prime is at Colorado right now that his boys is gone. I said, no, y'all got it twisted. Now I ain't got to even think about whether or not my boys are okay. Now it's, hey, did you come to play today? Because as much as people want to dog on Prime, and I've been saying this for years, he is as old school as they come. He doesn't care nothing about none of that. Did you show up and play? Can you show up and play? Did you practice? Are you disciplined? One of the things that I think they're going to have to work out and figure out is not being as penalized as they were last year. That is not being disciplined. It's just not it. He understands that. He is facilitating an atmosphere where you are going to get what you earn and nothing more. And nothing more. So if you're Travis Hunter, you're going to get treated like Travis Hunter. If you are not Travis Hunter, you will not get treated like Travis Hunter, which gets back to this part of the salary cap that I think is most important for him and for the conversation that folks want to have. Look, I don't want to pay a true freshman more than I pay a senior, but that's what we're doing now. And it's, well, that true freshman's really good. That senior's not that good. It doesn't matter, right? You want to have a hierarchy that you can depend on, that you can trust. Otherwise, it's just a free-for-all. Now, I only have but so little patience, even for Prime, when I know that the coaches and the Big 12, every last one of them makes more than $4 million a year. You're not going to get much sympathy from the rest of us millionaire about first world problems of trying to retain talent. That doesn't make you any different than any other good company. Good companies have a hard time retaining talent because yesterday's price is not today's price. Some of y'all learned today that Christian Horner got fired on his day off. Man had been there for damn near 24 years. They won every single championship, built that Red Bull team from nothing into a juggernaut. And Max Verstappen, his daddy, succeeded in getting him pushed out. No explanation, no nothing. So now, everybody that was working for Red Bull gets that exit clause where yesterday's price is not today's price. Some of y'all going to learn just how much a strategist costs when Hannah hit the market. Adrian Newey gone. Jonathan Wheatley gone. Checo gone. Max might be gone for all we know, even as we got this turnover. Nothing is assured. That's what business is, right? People want to talk about don't make it personal. I mean, it's either going to be so personal, because what I do is so personal, and I run a business, or it's not personal at all, in which case you're just buying and selling things. I think what coaches want is something to be personal as a business. They want familial. They don't want transactional. Good luck with that, dog. When y'all started getting paid $1 million to coach football, that didn't feel familial to us. That felt transactional as hell. When you got coaches that will sign a contract and up and leave, people forget Manny Diaz was supposed to be coaching at Temple. And then a couple weeks later, he was coaching at Miami. You know, I got coaches that they decide that they no longer want to do the job. They just leave. That's how it goes. I think there's part of this that makes sense. You want to get more guardrails going? Fine. Great. Good for you. You want a salary cap? That's great. Get a collective bargaining agreement. Get a collective bargaining agreement, you need a players union. Get a players union with some teeth. Somebody that's going to fight for the labor's rights. But it's really hard to fight for the labor's rights when they're 17, 18 years old and they are aging out at 22, 23. And then you got a new crop coming in. It's real difficult, okay? These are big problems, but the money train continues to run and nothing stops the money train. As long as the money train continues to function, people don't really have an incentive to change up. We got revenue share. Yeah. We got name, image, and likeness. Sure. We got immediate transfer. We got transfer portal. Yeah. We've got antitrust. But the money rolling. And in the United States of America, which is built on a capitalist system, that's going to be the coin of the realm. That's going to be the gold. And he who has the gold make the rules. Okay? When the money starts to dry up, and money start to get clinched, then I expect to see some real change. But for now, it's talk. It's July. Could it happen? Sure. Will it happen? Not with any kind of haste. You'll get some changes, but I don't think you're going to see anybody absolutely positively throw a grenade into this. Because if you're willing to pay $8 billion for the rights to the college football playoff, on top of the rights that you pay for the conferences to host those games, and you're just ESPN, you don't care about the rest of this. That's their problem. You make sure that my product hits the field that I can advertise and I can air. Go with God, right? So they better figure it out. They better talk to the coaches. But it is going to be a thankless job. It is going to be a thankless task, especially at programs like Colorado, which I believe are just below, right, being premier programs, right? They're not mid-majors. They're not premier programs. They're just outside, right? We're talking about top 40 programs, really, among 136 teams. By the way, we're continuing to add teams to FBS because the money keeps going up, okay? It's going to start to look a lot more like Formula One off in here with Concord agreements and revenue share purses that are getting larger and a lot less transparency, which I hate because I think we should all have insight into the process. It's what the clearinghouse is supposed to do, but we'll see. Again, we're talking about Deion Sanders, Colorado, as a harbinger of what's to come. Because Prime would say, look, when I was in the league, that's the way it worked. Salary cap is how we got it done. You can pay the quarterback this much, and everybody knows it. You'll pay the wide receiver this much, and everybody knows it. You could franchise tag. You could release. They want all of the advantages of the NFL and none of the disadvantages. And I get that, but no. You're going to have a salary cap. You're going to have slot values. You're going to have a CBA. You're going to have to give these kids some rights to protect their money, protect their chuck. And that also means that you're going to have to start being okay with signing checks that are six figures to 17, 18-year-old kids and dealing with their agents, dealing with their parents. You got to want it to be a college football coach today, but you get paid to want it too. So if you don't want to do it no more, there's a bunch of us out here that would, we'll take that opportunity. To which they're going, yeah, are you going to do a graduate assistant? You're going to be quality control assistant? Why? Prime didn't do it. That's what y'all going to say, right? And I will tell you, we don't treat Prime like we treat everybody else. And that is the issue right now. The issue is you want equality and fairness across the board. But what people hear is you want to treat everybody the same. No. You want to treat everybody as you should. You're going to treat UMass like UMass. You're going to treat Alabama like Alabama. That doesn't make it equal. It makes it fair. When that gets unsettled, we got a problem. We got a real problem because your queen is your queen. Your princesses is your princesses, daughters, I mean. Your princess is your princess. Your king is your king. If I come to you and tell you your queen ain't all that, there's a better queen over there, and that queen is married to someone else, you might want to dot my I. Or you might want to get yourself a new queen. I don't know how you built. I don't know what your honor like. I'm a single, childless, 37-year-old man just moving around right now, okay? I be looking at y'all, asking some real questions about what y'all be doing. Meanwhile, your mans, I'll let y'all know when she shows up. I'll let y'all know. No, and stop doing that thing where y'all telling me go overseas. That's nasty. I don't want to do none of that. I'm in Tulsa. I'm from the United States of America. It's fine. It's cool, right? I like that. Stop all of that. Nasty.